And the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. I saw a beast rising from the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, and on each horn a crown. The beast I saw looked like a leopard with bare paws and a lion's mouth. The dragon turned over its power to it. The dragon turned over its power to it. The what, everybody? Turned over its power to it. The what, everybody? The dragon turned over its what? To it. Its throne and great authority. Not only did it turn over its power, but it turns over its throne and it turns over its what, everybody? Authority. Now look at verse 4. They worshiped the dragon who gave the beast authority, and they worshiped the beast, exclaiming, "There's never been anything like the beast. No one would dare go to war with the beast." I want you to understand that in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 3, the first thing that the devil did was to deceive who? Talk to me. The first thing the devil did was to deceive who? This is supposed to be teaching now. The first person the devil deceived was who? The first person the devil deceived was who, everybody? Eve. That is the correct answer, so don't be afraid. The first person that the devil deceived was who? What did Eve do? Eve left Adam's side, right? And went to find, she didn't know what she was looking for, but she ran across the tree of good and of evil, which was planted in the center of the garden. Where was it planted, everybody? It was planted in the center of the garden, and because it was planted in the center of the garden, Eve really didn't have to go far to mess up. Which means that you don't have to go far in your life to mess up, because there are some things in your life that you enjoy doing. And there are some things in your life that you did not enjoy doing until you tried it. Isn't that right? You had to try it to begin to cultivate to like it. So then, the devil says to Eve, the day you eat of this fruit, you will not what? Did the devil lie? Yes and no. Yes and what, everybody? Because he says, the day you eat of this fruit, you shall not surely die. When she ate of the fruit, did she die? But she began the process. She began the what, everybody? She began the process of dying. Now notice, she did not notice a change in her situation until she gave the fruit to Adam, and Adam ate it. Wait, I'm going to say that again because y'all didn't catch that. She did not notice a change in her life or a change in her issue or situation until she gave the fruit to Adam, and Adam ate it. Look at the text in Genesis chapters 2 and chapter 3, and the answer is when they both ate of the fruit, they understood that they both were naked. Which means that when Adam and Eve both ate of the fruit, then the covering of anointing that they had over them, which the Lord had put over them, was removed. So then, let me ask you this crazy question. If that is the answer, then Adam and Eve was actually and totally deceived by the devil. How many agree with that? I'm going to ask the question again. Adam, Eve, basically first, was totally deceived by the devil. Nobody else deceived Eve. Would you agree with that? Adam kind of knew, but Eve was totally deceived by the devil. I'm going to say it one more time. Eve was totally deceived by the devil. And because Eve was totally deceived by the devil, what takes place? Sin comes into this world, and the whole situation is turned up topsy-turvy, right? Now, I'm going to say it one more time because I'm getting ready to go somewhere. So then on the BC side, who was tempted and deceived by who? Eve. Listen to me good. Eve and everybody else was totally deceived by the devil. I'm going to say it one more time. Eve and all of the descendants from the BC side before Christ died was totally deceived by the devil. Y'all quiet. Say it one more time because I'm getting ready to go somewhere. I'm going to say it one more time. Eve and the descendants of everybody from the time up until Christ died on the cross was deceived totally by the devil. Now, where you going, preacher? When, point number one, when Christ died on the cross, whose eyes were opened? Not only was people's eyes open, but other people's eyes was open. Those were angels who was with Satan. Their eyes became open. And because their eyes became open, our eyes, or those other individuals' eyes, became open. So then the devil could not trick any of us on the AD side the same way he tricked those on the BC side. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm going to say it one more time. The devil could not trick us on the AD side like he tricked those on the BC side. He had to have someone in front of him in order to deceive us who had great power and authority, but it was given to this person in front of him by the dragon, who was the devil. Is that too deep for y'all? Do I need to go over that again? I'm going to go over it one more time. One more time. The devil by himself gave no power to anybody to trick anybody. The devil used his own power to trick Eve and to deceive Eve and to deceive everybody else on the BC side. But on the AD side, he needed to have something else because everybody was claiming to be Christians. So then, because everybody was claiming to be Christians, the devil had to have an image. He had to have what, everybody? He had to have an image that was like him, but not like him. But inside of the image had to have the power that he had so that he could fool you and I without asking any questions. The text says, Revelation 13:1. The text says, do you have it? Revelation 13:1. Revelation 13:1, if we can get it up on the screen. Revelation 13:1. Revelation 13:1 says, and the dragon stood on the shore. What does it say, everybody? Write this down. The dragon stood on the shore. Not yet. Not yet. The dragon stood on the shore. If the dragon stood on the shore, he's not in the sea. I'm going to say that one more time. If the dragon is on the shore, he's not in the sea. We discovered last week in Bible class that sea and water represents what? Sea and water represents people, so the dragon stands on the shore. And the reason why the dragon stands on the shore is because the devil or the dragon knows that he has the power over the people in the sea. Are y'all in here? So he's already taking the power and you're not even questioning it. He's already taken the power and you're not even questioning it because he's on the shore and you in the sea. Because you are the people. And the text says, and the dragon gave his power to the beast. Not only does he give his power to the beast, but he gives it to his power, his seat, and great authority. So then if he does that, here comes the situation. The text says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. These people have patience. And the reason why these people have patience, and I don't care what you say, I've got to have patience to overcome. It takes what, everybody? It takes patience to do what? To overcome. Now, I don't know about you, but some of these habits that I haven't really fully overcome them all, have you? The answer is no. You can sit there like you holy if you want to, but I guarantee you, it's taking some patience and some fortitude to overcome some of the stuff you like to do. Huh? And the reason why you do it is because you like it, and the other reason why you do it is because you have cultivated a habit to enjoy it. And anytime I cultivate a habit to enjoy something, it takes some patience and some time for me not to do it anymore. So then that's why there is the patience of the saints that keep the commandments. And the reason why we keep the commandments is because we know doggone good and well you and I cannot keep the commandments by yourself. It takes the mercy of God. Can I get a witness in here? It takes the mercies of God in order to fulfill it. But here we go. We say, I got to do this. I can't do that. I can't. No, you're right. There is nothing that you can do and fulfill it without the glory and without the mercy and the goodness of God. So then, if that is the case, and the dragon has given this power to Satan. Satan has given this power to this image. This is what he does. It is over obedience, truth, and worship. What is it over? And the reason why it is over obedience, truth, and worship is because, and don't you ever forget this, is because the devil gives you what you want. Write this down. He gives you what you want, but it's temporary. What does he do? And the reason why it's temporary is because you do not live in eternality. I'm going to say it one more time. The reason why it is temporary is because you do not live in eternity. And because you do not live in eternity, you do not have enough sense to understand what living forever is all about. And because you don't have sense enough to understand what eternity and living is all about and never die in, Satan satisfies you with what we call temporary results. Someone tell me, what is a temporary result? Okay, let me give you a good example to what a temporary result is. A temporary result goes like this. I have had a root canal, and my tooth is so messed up, I have to have a crown placed over this tooth in order to save this tooth. Because if I don't have the root canal and it's not fixed properly, what am I going to lose? I'm going to lose the tooth. So then, the root canal is done, and then the dentist grinds down what? He grinds down my tooth. What does he put over my tooth after he grinds it down? Y'all better talk to me. A temporary crown. Why is it a temporary crown? He what? He has to get the mold. And it's also to protect. So Christ puts a mold over us to help protect us until we're perfected in His mercy and perfected in His love and perfected in His grace. I can't get nobody to shout in here. So then, He puts a temporary mold on it. He fixes it. He sends it to the factory. And the factory comes back with a what? The factory comes back with a permanent mold. And when the factory comes back with a permanent mold, what happens? Takes the temporary out. Y'all need to talk to me. Takes the temporary out and puts the what in? The devil gives you a temporary fix. He gives you a what, everybody? He gives you a temporary fix. He also gives you a temporary feeling of religiosity. which makes you think you are saved because you have never asked a question as to whether or not you are worshiping God on the right day. Because he knows if he stands up there and says, I want y'all to worship me, you're not going to do it. And the reason why you're not going to do it is because you know who he is. Am I right or wrong? So then there's a difference now between true and false worship. So then there are two groups when it comes down to worship. How many groups? One group worships the Creator. One group worships what, everybody? The what, everybody? And then one group worships the what? One group worships the Creator, and one group worships the beast without them knowing it. They don't know it. They don't know it. So then I have a nerve to say, because you don't know this, I am held accountable for it. The answer is I am not held accountable for nothing that I do not know. I'm only held accountable for that which I do know. Did y'all hear what I just said? If I didn't know that it was wrong for me to have more than one wife, look how Sister Cox looking at me. It would not be wrong. Am I right? But I know better. But I know better. And the reason why I know better is because I have watched what everybody else is doing. But then I turned around and studied for myself. The difference is, the reason why some people don't know is because they have never studied for themselves and no one has never told them. And so what they do is they follow what they have always been taught. So then, what is the basis of all true worship? The first thing is, if I created you, that's the basis. That is the what, everybody? Whoo, girl. I just worship the ground that girl walks on. I just worship the ground he walks on. What is that? Somebody said idolatry. What else is that? That's what? Lust? Is it love? Is it stupidity? Which is it? I think somebody said all of the above, and they're all correct. My relationship to a woman or a man is supposed to be totally different than my relationship with God. It is supposed to be totally different. Now watch this. When I got married and we started talking about having children, the first thing I wanted to really see was what I could make. And I made Dolly Lamb. But the first thing, come on now, y'all tell the truth. The first thing was, I wonder what it's going to look like. Am I right or wrong? We have the power to create, but not the power to truly create. Because God created us. Do y'all understand that? So then the person that I am supposed to worship is the Creator. Now, Satan has attacked the Sabbath because it is the seal of God's what? Is the seal of what, everybody? Because inside of that fourth commandment shows ownership, creatorship, seal, and title. Do you understand that? Now, this beast who got his power from the dragon says that he thinks to change times and laws. He does what, everybody? He thinks to change times and laws. He thinks to do what, everybody? He thinks to change times and laws. This is where I'm going to stop until next week or carry it on this afternoon. Now, I want you to understand something. See how well you learned. The first thing you learned is when the devil gives you something, what is it? Boy, y'all smart. It's temporary. When God gives you something, it's permanent. When God gives you something, it's permanent. When Satan gives you something, it's what, everybody? It's temporary. But when God gives you something, it's permanent. Who deceived Eve? Who deceived Eve? Satan. He deceived everybody on his own by himself on the what side? But on the AD side, what does he have to do? He have to use an image when it comes down to worship and obedience. It's been almost about a year now. BJ calls me up, and maybe not a year, half a year. BJ calls me up, and he says, Daddy, he says, I want to put a new sound system in my truck. I say to him, son, what's wrong with the one you have? His reply was, well, Daddy, you know it don't do what it needs to do. I said, all I thought you needed to do was just turn something on and you could hear something. And he said, no, Daddy, it don't have that quality sound. I said, what do you mean quality? He said, you know, Daddy. I said, no, I don't know. He said, that basic sound. I said, oh, you mean that boom, diddy, boom, this stuff. He said, well, Daddy, say what you want to say, but I got to have a sound in the truck. I said, son, what do you need a sound in the truck for? He said, well, while I'm traveling, I can listen to my music. He says, and he says, if I also get in the crowd, I can turn my music up. So I said, you mean you want to get some type of something that'll attract the ladies, huh? I said, son, your daddy done traded in his player's card. I know what you're talking about. He felt, he thought that was so funny. So he goes to some place that he knows somebody. You know, it's always good to know somebody so you can get the hookup. Y'all know about the hookup, don't you? Come on, y'all know about the hookup, don't you? And so he calls me and tells me about the hookup. So I said, okay, well, you know, it's your truck. He said, huh? Because I've always told every last one of them, if you mess up, the cause is coming back home. Because you don't own nothing. Your mama and dad is paying for it. So he said, what you say? Well, he knew what he trying to be funny. He knows who owns the truck. So anyhow, he gets all this stuff in the car. It is making all this noise coming home down the street. Diddy boom, diddy boom. And so I'm talking about temporary. And he's been enjoying the boom, diddy boom, diddy boom, diddy boom. And so the other day, I called him. Most any other time I called him, I'd say, can you turn your music down? Because I can't hear you. The other day when I called him, I was kind of surprised. I didn't hear no did it bump, did it bump, did it bump, did it bump. And I said, son, is there anything wrong with your stereo? He said, no. I said, well, why it ain't on? He said, well, I thought I'd ride for a while in peace. I said all that to say this. The devil gives you temporary stuff. And sooner or later you get tired of it. You actually get tired of temporary stuff. But aren't you glad that God is still around? He'll take you back and he'll give you this permanent thing that you can always need. If my people, that's permanent. If my people who are called by my name should humble themselves and seek my face, I will hear from heaven and I will heal their land. That's a permanent situation. Ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door shall be open. That's a permanent thing. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and are heirs according to his promise. That is a permanent thing. Permanency. So that I know in whom I believe. A permanent situation. And if you want to have a permanent situation this morning, I'm going to just ask you to get on your feet. A permanent situation to a promise that God has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. I'll go with you all the way, even until the end. Can I get you to repeat after me? Father, here I stand. You know all about me. And I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, you are able to present me faultless before the Father with exceedingly great joy. And I thank you, Lord. Forgive me, Lord, of all of my sins. And make me wholly thine. Because I know you can do this because you shed your blood on Calvary just for me. This is my prayer. In the name of Jesus I pray. Amen. Come on, put your hands together. You may be seated.